So I am well aware that we all experiencing very different reactions, especially to what is going on. Some of us are experiencing anger, others fear. Some people are feeling calm, others are feeling numb or a sense of no emotion. Other people are actually very happy because they don't have to go to school. It's important to recognize that these emotional states become very dynamic. So within a day, you might actually experience three of these emotions back, and that can be very confusing. Um, it is very normal to have these feelings, especially in these times. And this is partly because of the fact that our safety seems to be threatened. Now, usually what happens is that humans live for survival. We try to survive. Going to school is basically about surviving. Being in social relationships is all about trying to survive. So each time our survival is tempered with, there are a number of reactions that everybody experiences. Now, whatever you're going through is normal and is real. And everybody and so many other people are going through the same feeling. So don't feel like you are alone in this. You're not happy. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, humans constantly we scan our environments to look for threats. Okay? And God made us in a special way so that each time we encounter some form of threat, or each time our mind codes something as stress, the body immediately responds by creating a threat for us. Basically, that's what happens. Okay. Now, more importantly, if you're faced with a threat that you can actually see, you feel in control of yourself, or you feel that you might actually have some control to overcome that particular threat. So if you're fighting a dog or you are running away from a dog, that's more physical. And so you have some control. So the anxiety or the feelings of discomfort or unsettlement that you have are quite different from fighting a threat that you cannot see. In this state, we are all fighting COVID-19. Like we can't see COVID-19, although it's all around us. And we hear news of people dying, people in dire conditions, and all of that. And so we are all in a state of danger, or perhaps we are in a state where our mind tells us that we're in danger. Now, the human mind has an amazing way of dealing with very different things. But perhaps the human mind's most amazing thing of being so exact in drawing pictures of what we think, also it is greatest disadvantage. So this is what usually happens. And I'm sure you can all relate to the fact that you watch a horror movie and you are afraid. Meanwhile, it's just a movie. Or you watch a movie and then you actually do get emotional because your favorite character passed on. The reason why that is able to happen because the human mind can describe or create for you an alternate reality of exactly what you are thinking. So now, in the state of anxiety, where or uncertainty, where most of us are unaware. Hello,
Hi.
can you still hear me?
We are listening.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
listening.
Yes, we can hear you. But can you please speak up a bit? It seems some people can't hear you well.
Is it better?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Please prompt me if you're not hearing well so I can alter my voice.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So let's
Okay.
go.
So as I was saying, I'm saying that the human mind is able to equate what we think and make it a reality for us. Okay. So in most cases, when you watch a horror movie, you know it's a movie, but you still get afraid. That's because the human mind can create an alternate reality, which is actually real. And therefore, the same emotions that you would actually have experienced if you were in such a threat, you start to experience it even though it is just in your mind. I hope we all get what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, most so kakra now
Actually, we get it. We get it.
Yeah, we get it. But then our microphones are off so that it wouldn't distract.
Some microphones are off.
Yeah, I'm so na do mic no.
That's why
Yes, we didn't get the last part of your statement.
Pardon me?
I didn't get the last part of your statement where you actually feel understood you.
Okay, okay, good. So let me just reiterate that. I'm saying that the human mind is able to create alternate realities for us based on what we are thinking. Okay, and I gave the example of, for example, watching an emotional movie and you starting to cry because the movie is so emotional. It is because your mind puts you in the movie, so you are no longer imagining it, but it's almost as if you are going through what is happening. All right, now that power of the mind is also its greatest disadvantage. And what I mean in this regard is that currently what we are all going through is basically because of how our minds are processing all the things that are going on around us. The things are real, that is true. However, our mind is also exaggerating or making big some of the things that are not even actual, and we are falling into the trap of becoming overly anxious all the time. Now, God put a fail-safe mechanism in every human being so that when you encounter any threat, this mechanism is activated, and that's what I'm sure most of us have heard of, what we call the fight or flight reaction. Okay, now basically it gears you up to fight any kind of threat that you encounter. Now, one of the most significant things you notice about fight or flight is that your heart starts to beat, or your heart beats more than it usually does. And in most cases, people misinterpret their heart beating to mean that they're about to get a heart attack or something of that sort. And that also sets out another reaction for anxiety, which means double anxiety that we're having. Now, humans, or humans as we are used to a lot of routines. Okay, we are used to routines. Routines give us a sense of control. They make us feel like we are in control of our lives. Any disruption in our routines usually is interpreted by the brain in a certain way. Because the brain is not used to a disruption of your routine, it will code it as something is wrong. And usually the brain codes in binaries: yes, no, good, bad. So it says there's something bad happening. And in most cases, our minds will first look at the most negative things first, or the mind will say something bad is happening. We are in danger. Not because we are actually in danger, but because the mind has a way of what? Interpreting all that is going around because of a disruption in the routine. So before we all will get up, you get your trotro, you go to work. Suddenly, getting trotro is a problem, and then you start to get agitated about it. Now, that agitation is interpreted by your brain as a danger, even though there is no danger. So, all these things, especially in this time of anxiety, only adds onto our anxiety threshold. We can tolerate anxiety. However, the excess or chronic anxiety has a debilitating effect on our well-being and then our physical health, which is to say that if in this state you are very anxious, you are depleting or you are suppressing your immune system, which could actually affect your chances of getting any other illness, including COVID-19. But are we also saying that because this is a state of anxiety, there's nothing we can do? What are some of the things that we can do on our own to ensure that we are keeping ourselves sane? Number one, which I'm sure a lot of us have heard about, is connectedness. Now, connectedness for me should start with connectedness with God, okay? As the only supernatural being who understands all that is going on that our human minds cannot fathom. So, even if you don't have any physical person around you, you can always communicate with God, which is the first thing. Second thing, we have to communicate or connect with each other. And I want to congratulate the U department for putting this together on the Zoom call. So it gives us a sense of connectedness. Receive funds.
On behalf of
now,
everybody.
exactly. I am sure that for all of us who are on the line, seeing each other's faces has given us a sense of calm that, oh, okay, oh, she's there, oh, she's there, he's there. So that connectedness is really important, because what it does is that it eases off our anxiety and gives us a sense that there are other people around us who we can connect to. Now, you can also, something you can also do is to see light in the midst of all this darkness. And normally what we are encouraging people to do is we say we keep a gratitude journal. So in your day, just find 3 things that you can be grateful for, even in all of this. And for me, one of the things I'm very grateful for is the fact that I haven't lost my appetite in spite of all this. And it's something that I am grateful for. But I will not eat with any of you for fear that you might COVID-19 me. Now, it's also important to avoid the news that unsettles you. So a lot of us are news shopping, getting more information on COVID-19, and it is somehow getting our anxieties out of control. But the reality is, we should allow ourselves to actually get information at specific times. So what we recommend is you can say twice in a day, morning and evening, you'll find the updates on what is going on. But do not be on the net or trying to get information on what COVID-19 is all around, because what it does is to activate your anxiety system or your stress response so that it works perpetually, even though it's supposed to work for a very short period of time. Now, because our routines are disrupted, we need to set up new routines. And I'm sure that most of us are asking, what routines again? For someone like Chumi, whose routines used to be going to the gym, I can only imagine that she's feeling very frustrated. But she could take on a new routine, like skipping at home, and say, I will do 1,000 skips a day. You could also take on that hobby, like for men, learn how to cook. Like for men, say that I want to learn how to cook banku, and take that as the routine you are setting for yourself. Read a book. Most of us don't like reading, I agree. But you can learn something that is important to you for once. Now, majority of us have put so many things out of, and we postpone so many things because we keep saying that we don't have time, we don't have time.
Please, those who have not muted your microphones yet, please mute them.
Mute microphone, yes,
Abna party, your microphone is on. You'll be Baba Shefi. Mute your microphone.
So, I mean, if I were.
No, it says it's Mami Equia, so it could be at Dan Cancer's house.
Oh, okay. Elder Cancer, please.
She said it. I didn't say it.
Okay. So, like I was saying, that we have to start new routines. So, for someone like me, if not for the fact that I had to go to work even in this period, I would have said I was going to lose weight and put in the effort during this time of freedom to actually lose the weight. But unfortunately, I can't. So I will continue gaining my weight. But please learn and do something new. Find other routines. The first routines that we used to have been disrupted. That disruption gives us a sense of no control. And that sense of no control is usually interpreted in your brain as danger. Now, the danger is what causes you to feel the emotional reactions that you are going through. So, getting new routines gives a sense of control. Now, exercise and sleep are very important in these times. Exercise, for one thing, increases the number of natural painkillers we have and also gives us a bit of what we call the happy hormone or oxytocin, which makes you actually feel some level of pleasure. The same applies for sleep. So please, because you don't have to go to work does not mean you should sleep at 1 a.m. and wake up at 5 a.m. It will have a negative effect on your emotional health. You should set timelines for going to bed and for waking up. Do not be idle is one of the most important things. Let us remember this saying that the devil finds work for the idle hands. Okay? Being idle only allows your mind to wander. And when your mind starts to wander, you are going to feel more anxiety because your mind is going to tell you things like you are going to die, you will get COVID-19, even though you don't have it, and that you are at home and you are maintaining all the protocols to prevent you from getting it. Your mind makes you feel like you actually will experience or you will get it. And so that gives you more anxiety. Now, finally, it's important to understand or to know the guidelines that have been communicated by your country, your institution, your church, or what WHO and all those people have communicated. It's important. Once you are able to follow through on these things, it gives you a sense of control to know that you are in control of all that is going on and that you can actually do something to prevent getting this particular disease, as opposed to feeling like you are helpless. All those will just make you depressed, will reduce your ability to react to other people, and will make you feel very helpless, even though you can actually be helpful to yourself. So, in summary, I'm saying that all the emotions we are going through are normal. You are not the only person going through it. I am also going through it, even as a psychologist. And there are dozens of people out there who are going through these same emotions. And it is normal. That should make you feel that you are not alone in this. Secondly, your mind is a very powerful tool. When your routines are disrupted, the mind can only explain it to be there is some danger, even though there is no danger. Now, I'll give you an analogy. The danger that your mind tells you you have will now mean that you will be in a physical state where you are prepared to run away from a dog, even though you are sitting in your bedroom. So you might be in bed, but your mind is running away from a dog. So you may be unable to sleep. You lose appetite. And the reality is that if you are being chased by a dog, how do you stop and say, Mr. Dog, hold on, let me sleep a little? Or Mr. Dog, hold on and let me eat? These are the reasons. It's because the mind is currently in that state where it feels that the danger is actually real. It is left to us to bring our minds back into perspective and make ourselves know that we are not in the danger, but we are imagining or perceiving this particular danger. Stay connected to your friends, stay connected to God, learn a new hobby, start new routines. These things give you a sense of control. Stay home if you don't need to go out. Stay home if you don't need to go out. Thank you very much. I will now take my questions.
Celestina.
Thank you, Mr. Presenter. We are very grateful. Okay, so we have one question here. Please, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so this is from Daniel, and it goes like this. I'll read it as it comes. My question is on we staying away from new news items that cause us to get frightened. But I think every single news item about COVID-19 makes us much more aware of the devastating nature of the virus. No news now is pleasant. So how can we be much more updated on the virus?
Okay, that's a very good question. But Daniel, if you would look at this question, you will notice one thing in there. You are saying that every news is already devastating. So what don't you already know about COVID-19 that you are still looking for? Is the first question. Now, the second question is that there are actually news on COVID-19 which are promising. And the fact is that most people don't even communicate the rate of recovery. So most people think that getting COVID-19 is a death sentence. No, it is not. If you maintain good hygiene, you are likely to fight it off. If you are able to rest, exercise, you are likely to fight it off even if you do get the infection. Now, check the statistic. You realize that about 80 to 85% of people who will get it will only experience mild symptoms. And it is just the excess of the 15% which experience significant symptoms. And even for that, a great majority of them, which is about 79% of them, are elderly. So staying home is to protect those people. Now, for a lot of the concerns that we have been getting is people saying that I'm young, so I will not die. Yes, you will not die. But you taking it and you walking around means that you are more liable to infect somebody else. And that person might not make it. But what other information are you looking for about COVID-19 that you don't already have, realistically? That you don't already have. You have all that information already. So if you need to be updated, that's what I'm saying. Set a time period, say in the afternoon or in the morning and in the evening. But if you are on CNN, you're on BBC, and you are following the trend, all you are going to see is that 1,000 extra deaths, 4,500 extra infections. And all these things only make your mental health weak. Now, remember one thing. Each time you are under threat, okay, your body ceases to do certain things that it normally does. One of them is that it slows digestion. You don't get hungry. The second thing is that the soldiers of our body, which we call the immune system, is suppressed when you are in danger, because that danger can kill you quicker than any virus. So the immune system ceases to function as it should. Now, if you keep feeding yourself with that kind of news that makes you feel negative or makes you feel a spell of negative emotions, you are suppressing your immune system, which in effect might make you even more susceptible to that particular disease. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, Daniel, I hope you're okay with the answer.
Yeah, somehow.
Okay.
because I think yes, Seth well answered, yes. But my issue is now at least getting to know because let me say, we those the elite in our families, in our societies, but then if we get to have more updates, like this week, mostly when I go to work, when I meet people, I try to let them understand the nature of the virus, because some of them feel Ghana the imbibe, so it's normal. But then I try as much as possible to be updated. Yes, I get frightened because when I see the numbers, the number of deaths for Italy and Spain, I get frightened at some point in time. But I feel, okay, it's normal. At least I'm getting an info. I can let people know the nature of the virus so that at least they will be much more aware of it. Or I'm also in one way or the other, maybe frightening them the most. I don't know, maybe. I think
very good.
I am
So Daniel,
yeah.
What I'm saying is not to look. I'm not saying don't look for information at all. Okay, I'm saying that look for information, but set a worry window for yourself to say that I will get information, because yes, you want to keep updated every day. So should I get my updates in the morning and in the evening? But there are people who are glued to CNN. So from morning till evening is CNN or BBC or Sky, and all they are getting is a feedback of doom, doom, doom. That is what we don't want, because it will reduce your productivity. You are not doing anything else if you are in a state of fear or panic. So I'm saying that have a specific time period for getting these updates to stay on top of issues. But it shouldn't be something that you become chronic about. So you wake up in the middle of the night, come and see Ghana has 2 more cases added. No.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Thank
I
you.
get it. Because for me, I watch it every minute.
That's problematic.
Daniel.
Okay, thank you, Daniel and Cuckoos. This is from Toka. I'm sorry if I'm not able to get the name right, but his contribution to Daniel's question. He says, my contribution to Daniel's question, my dear, majority of us are aware of COVID-19. Please ask yourself that all the news you see and hear probably on social media, ask yourself how many talk about the recovery cases. Trust me, I have left like over 5 groups just because of some false news people spread just to cause fear and panic. My mom calls me panicking that the cases are going up. I also tell her yes, but people are also recovering very fast. So please choose where you get some of the false info from. Thanks, from Toka. Thank you, Toka. Please, there's another question here for the presenter.
Yeah.
Someone wants to know if there's a treatment for COVID-19 because she read from Ghana news update sites that they are being treated at home. So she wants to know if there's a treatment for the disease.
Okay. I can only speak for what I have seen so far. Okay. So I have had the opportunity to work with people in quarantine, and they treat symptoms. Okay. Now, if you even read the WHO guidelines, they will tell you that get prepared that you might actually get the COVID-19. So get a lot of fluids, get a painkiller, because normally when you get a flu, you will experience some pain. Get a cough mixture for your cough. Get something like a mint for your throat. Get like a hot ointment for your chest, just to ease off the symptoms. Now, basically, there is no known treatment like the way we know that in malaria, if you take anything which is artemether lumefantrine, you'll be fine. There is no known treatment for it, but they treat the symptoms, giving your immune system enough energy to fight off the remains of the virus. That is basically what is happening now. They are treating symptoms. Yes, there have been sparse news about how chloroquine, erythromycin have some form of efficacy against the virus, but all of these are still in the infantile stages. So it is not something that you can say for a fact that yes, it does. There are so many people who are advocating different treatments. Some people say ginger and honey with vinegar. So there's so much information going around. Now, what I can attest to is the fact that you're treating symptoms and not the disease. Because what the disease does is that it goes for your lungs. But before it goes for your lungs, it shows specific symptoms, which is the cough, the bodily pains or the headaches, the fever. Okay. All of those things are the symptoms that they are treating now. So the standard treatment guideline now is treating symptoms. So I won't say there's a specific cure, but I'll say if you have a cough, treat the cough. If you have a cold, treat the cold in that order. I hope that is okay.
Okay, thank you. There's another question here. It says, is the 14 days incubation period correct all the time? Or do some people show symptoms after 14 days?
Well, they've been okay. From in Ghana, I haven't seen anything like that. But there've been some isolated cases where they say people have shown symptoms after even the 14 days. But as of now, I cannot make any concrete statement to say yes. I only work with WHO guidelines, and the guideline says incubation period is 14 days. And majority of the cases we have seen have been within this 14 days. So I can vouch for 14 days that at least within the 14 days you will notice symptoms.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Someone is also asking that before this pandemic came, people had such symptoms whenever they were sick. So how sure are we that it's like you have coronavirus amidst
The,
these symptoms?
okay, the only sure test is actually to get tested at the lab. Either they do an RNA or they give you one of the test kits to confirm that it's actually corona. Don't forget that the coronavirus mimics the symptoms of the normal influenza. Okay, so they have very similar symptoms. Perhaps the only difference with corona is that it goes for the lungs, okay, and causes fluid to build within the lung that you call a fibrosis, and that prevents people from being able to breathe. And that's what usually leads to most of the death in corona. Now, if you're somebody who already has an underlying like physical condition, the corona further depletes the body's resources and makes it more likely that you will face death. So the only sure test is that they have a test that is done to say you have it. Let's also not forget that as humans, because of anxiety, we will start to mimic some of these symptoms. So
Yeah.
you'll be there and a small headache will come, Charlie. Then you say, hey, corona. Or you start to feel some feverishness. Then you say corona. It is not entirely because you experience a symptom, it is real. Okay? Our minds can make us experience these symptoms feely, even though we don't have any of them. So let's be wary of that. Let us not panic too much. If you start experiencing symptoms, you start treating. Give yourself, if it's a cough, treat the cough. If you notice it is getting worse, please call the COVID-19 emergency response numbers and somebody will come and attend to you. I mean, they will come and take you away, not attend to you.
Okay, thank you. There's a follow-up question on the incubation period one. And
Yes.
the person is asking, where does faith, that is believing in God, come in?
I tell you one thing about faith. Faith is what makes something that nobody believes possible. Okay? So I am working right now with faith that I will go every day and meet all these people and come back home and nothing is happening. It's just faith. Faith is the belief. Look, I've worked in a hospital setting for a while, and there are things that have happened that we cannot explain. And we know that that is the power of God. The power of God is very different from physical things. The power of God makes things that happen which are it is perhaps your own belief. And the power within which you situate that belief can work miracles for you. As for that, I can tell. But our faith, we have different, the way the faith we have is different across persons. The fact that you have faith does not mean that you should not sanitize your hands. The fact that you have faith does not mean that you should be walking around when they say, please stay at home if you don't have anything to do. Okay? You have faith that you are okay. But please, do not tempt or do not intend to do that so that other people who don't have your faith might become suspect in the issue.
All right, thank you. Please, at this juncture, I would take a musical interlude from the Asian family. Please, the Asian family. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, the Asian family, kindly give us one interlude before we continue. We have about 2 questions.
My heart can sing when I pause to remember the heartache here is but a stepping stone along the trail. That's why I need always upward. This troubled world is not my final. But until then, my heart will go on singing. Until then, joy I'll carry on. Until the day, my eyes behold the city. Until the day, God calls me home. The things of earth will dim and lose their value. If we recall, they're borrowed for a while, and things of earth that
Now we can't hear the Asian family.
I think their connection has gone off a bit, so we can continue. I'll just check on that.
Okay, all right. Okay, so there's a contribution here from
Okay.
Until then, my heart will go on singing. Until then, with joy I'll carry on. Until the day I see God is city. Until then, God calls me home.
One time.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the Asian family.
Yeah.
There's a contribution from one of us to the discussion going on. The person says, when it comes to viruses, just like HIV, there are no known treatments. Just as Kuku said, treatment is symptomatic based. the best is to build the immune system to overcome the infection. Okay, please, I think we'll take the last 2 questions and then maybe you can proceed. Please, Mr. Presenter, are you here?
I'm here with you.
Okay, so the question is, what should one do if after doing all that you have said, still scared of COVID-19, even though you have never traveled anywhere?
So,
please,
like
did
I'm
you
saying,
hear the question?
yes, I did. What you are asking, what the person is asking is, you have given all these things, but
asking what
I'm doing all of these things, but still I'm anxious. Is it that's right?
Okay.
Is that it?
Okay.
Okay. So remember this. It doesn't take one day to overcome the anxiety. Neither will it take one day for all of these feelings of uncertainty to go away, because the uncertainty in itself causes anxiety. But every day you need to take a day at a time and endure the day and enjoy what you can enjoy within the day. You will gradually build the coping resources that would allow the anxiety to go away. It is very erroneous and magical thinking if you believe that because today I connected with 1-2 people, I will feel no anxiety. That is totally erroneous. So it takes time to do, but consistency is what is important. Change your routines and be consistent about it. Connect with people and be consistent about it. In fact, take this opportunity to learn things on the internet you never knew. Like, I know a lot of us are being introduced to Zoom. Use it with your friends as well. It gives you a sense of control. It gives you a sense that you're actually doing something. And take a better opportunity to encourage other people. So when you talk to them and then they talk about doom, first accept the fact that yes, you're also feeling that way, but we will make it or we will overcome. That will make you overcome the anxiety much quicker than being engulfed in bad news and then the feelings of negativity. So consistency.
Celestina.
Yes, we proceed. Celeste.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I think my network was a little disturbing.
Okay.
Okay, I think the questions are exhausted at the moment, and we'd like to use this opportunity to thank you so much for coming on board. And I believe we have all learned a lot. At least, if for nothing at all, you mentioned that we should stay connected, especially or first and foremost to God, and then to our loved ones. And then we should try and then learn new things, which probably might be quite difficult for some of us because we are used to the very old things we keep doing. But I think with time, we would learn the new things. So we want to thank you so much for coming on board and then educating us to this bit.
Okay.
Please, Chumi, are there any announcements?
Seth.
Yes.
Can we at least see you before you go? Because all through, you didn't show your face.
It's not my fault. It's the environment.
Yes, please. We will pardon the environment.
Thank you.
Whilst we are waiting for him, we'd like to thank everybody who joined us.
We miss all of you.
Today has been very successful, and we will do more of it.
Auntie Chubby.
Yeah.
We miss all of you.
Before we end this, we'd like to hear something from our youth patron. Elder Shen, if you are on, please, you can wrap this up for us.
I'm sorry to interrupt, okay, but I think there's a last question here to the presenter.
Okay.
Kukus, please, are you still here?
I'm here.
Okay, so Kofi Holman wants to know if washing your hands frequently and adding sanitizers is safe in the long term.
It's safe in the long term.
Yes.
Well, for now, it is. I'm not a dermatologist. I will not know its effect on the skin. But what I know is that excessive hand washing, especially with regards to what detergent or what soap you are using, has a way of rubbing off the skin. So it could make your skin coarse. But for now, it is the only protective factor we have. So I beg you, wash it and wash it. Keep washing.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Chime, please, you may continue.
Yes, thank you, Seth. So, Elder Shen, please help us wrap this up. And thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Are we still Seth, are we seeing you or we just have to?
I let you see me right now.
We want to see the
Yes, Seth, let's see you.
See myself. So I should do
Seth, now we are worried. Where are you that taking forever for us to see you?
Allow.
Allow.
If the environment is not permitting, allow.
Yes.
If we are driving and I know it's okay. I'm sure we'll see. This will be the first, so we'll see you. All right. So just to wrap up, again, just to say a big thank you to Seth for taking time off his busy schedule. Seth is very, very busy these days. Those of you who are not aware. That's Seth. Hi.
Please, okay. Some of us can see him now. Hi.
So Seth, again, thank you very much. I know that we are busy and it's been worth our time. I know people pay for such information. Key things that Seth mentioned that I want us to go home with: consistency. We need to ensure whatever we are doing, we are consistent with it, and it's important that we stay connected. We can't be people idle and not be connected to one another. So it's good. And again, one thing for me, it's a big takeaway is that please, you are not going to die. So stop getting yourself scared and all that.
Amen.
And then we should look out for the positives in all this situation. Here we are, even as faith giants, as a church, we never explored these opportunities where we could at least have our meetings online. I pray that this will be beyond COVID-19, that when people go to school, they are not cut off. Maybe some of our Fridays will be able to join via Zoom. We can have a lot of discussions like we did with Pastor Kusia Apia and all that. And it's also an opportunity for us to spend time with family and stay at home. If you have questions, please make sure that we have people here, we have resource persons here who can assist. So don't just, anything that you find, any information you find and it scares you, please shoot it out to your leaders and we can help you with that. That said, it means we'll be going forward, we'll be doing a lot of this, at least for the next 4 weeks, 1 week on, 3 weeks or additional weeks that will come due to the increase in the, so far the cases we have in Ghana. They could extend it. We'll do this more often. What I want to ask from you is that we want to do things that you feel are good for us. So please, if you have any questions or you have any ideas on what we should discuss, bring it up. Next week or during the week, we can all decide to have a Zoom or we can have a chat on our WhatsApp platform. So if you have any ideas on suggested topics that you think we should discuss, please don't hesitate to come out to the leaders. And then it's a Sabbath. Let's ensure we are enjoying the Sabbath, enjoy time with family. And again, you are not going to die. We'll all be here and we'll see in church very soon. And please, show kindness to one another and let's enjoy the time with family. God bless you.
Okay.
Just a quick one before you wrap up. Shumi.
Yes, Elder.
Shumi.
Yes, Elder.
Yes. Is this the first time of using this Zoom?
Yes, please. Last week we did Facebook Live.
Okay. So my quick one is that we get feedback from members and list how many were able to join, get their issues they had with it, and maybe we see how we can correct them to encourage a lot of people to join. I think it's a fruitful one. And then the second question is about our project. So I don't know whether members are well aware of the plan, and I wanted the addition to also.
Okay.
Yes, Elder. Then please, Elder,
right.
yeah.
So I care. Remember last week we were supposed to have I care, and I care is for 2020. And all that is about is that for Faith Giants or for the Adventist youth, we care about the people around us. And COVID-19 is really giving us an opportunity to really show that. So what we have decided to do is to do Kitwe Biensha. All of us, let's try to put something together. And then we'll try to see those, for instance, these days, because of the restrictions, whether it's created artificially or not, the petty traders, people who normally will go and sell and get 1 CD and get KK, are not able to do so anymore. So we want to at least find some foodstuffs, whether it's gari, it is beans, it is rice, sanitizers that you have. I know some of you have like different colors, different types in your bag. Some don't have. We'll try to get some sanitizers, get some bread, and then we would safely, and I mark my words, safely make sure we distribute these items to the needy. First, starting in the church house, we identify people who need these items and supply these items to them. The plan was to do this Sabbath. It's a bit late. So between now and Wednesday, whatever small you can contribute, then by Wednesday, we'll get these items, and by Saturday, we'll form a small team to make sure that this distribution is done. So this is the I Care project that we want to do for this year. This is a 13th Sabbath. Remember that. God has taken care of us for a full quarter. The first Sabbath in the next quarter, this is what we are going to do.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, Elder. Thank you very much.
I'm here.
Abena, somebody suggested that we all unmute and say hello to each other. So if we can do that quickly, I just say hello, happy Sabbath,
Hello to the Fiados.
Hello, happy Sabbath, everyone.
Hello to Nanama.
Senegal Boga.
Okay, we've closed the hellos.
Hello, Edubia.
No, let's meet again and let's
Mr. Mwako, I can see you. I believe it's your face. I can see you.
Please, we'll invite you.
Hello, Ebo.
Hello.
Elder Juma,
What's happening?
Yes.
you give us the closing prayer.
Okay. Let's pray.
Yes, please, we are
Let's
praying.
pray.
It's about everyone.
Happy day.
Praying. Our Lord and Savior, we thank you that we can gather again at the beginning of this Sabbath hours. We thank you for teaching us what we should know. We pray that you give us the understanding, deeper understanding. Help us to stay safe under your wings. We pray that you continue to bless us throughout the Sabbath. In Jesus' name have we prayed. Amen.
Hello.
Please,
Hello.
we had a lot of
Okay, happy day. Bye-bye.
To me.
Hello? Yes, we had a lot of visitors and we'd like to thank all of you for joining us. We hope that next week you can still make time to join us. Good night, everyone. Happy Sabbath till we meet again. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Night. Good night. Good night.
Happy Sabbath.
Good night. Bye.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good job, Celeste.
Yes, Elder.
Oh, that's good.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, Kukwa.
I don't end you. I don't end, everybody will stay.
Hi, Kukwa.
Good night.